Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here at the Paris Air Show at the historic airfield at Le Bourget outside the French capital. Our coverage here is sponsored by L3 Technologies and Leonardo DRS. And we have with us Patrice Caine, who is the CEO of France's leading electronics company, Thales. Patrice, thanks for joining us.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. Have you had a successful air show so far?
Yes, it has been very hectic, and we had a lot of delegations visiting us.
And you've been very patient with us, and we're waiting for the new Prime Minister of France to join us, and which means that you're going to have to go in order to escort him. But I want to start with new administration is in France. There has been a lot of talk, and President Macron has been clear that he wants to increase investment in defense and stay at that 2% goal, and also work on the 20% defense investment goal, which is potentially very good news for you. And there's also a broader spending trend that I'll ask you about in a minute about European budgets going up. What is your expectation from the new government when it comes to both defense, but as well as commercial policy? And what is your advice for the new government as it comes in regarding its policies toward the aerospace and defense sector in France?
Well, advice, or let's say message to be conveyed to the new Prime Minister. First on defense, yes, this target to reach the 2% in terms of GDP is very important, very structuring for our defense activity. And secondly, and more generally speaking, the fact that it is very important to fund the innovation. So to put more money to help us to fund breakthrough innovations, in particular in this digital world which is coming now in our businesses.
And what is your expectation from the government? What do you think? Do you actually believe that defense spending will go up for the full year, for example, of the budget law? Are you confident that you're going to see an upside to this? Because there are some who see the president and say he's a guy from Bercy, which means he knows money, which means he's likely to be cutting money, given the challenges, because he has an extremely ambitious agenda that he's trying to undertake, and that there are folks who look at this and say there isn't much margin and that defense could pay a price.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I'm listening to the French president, he has clearly said that he will increase the defense budget. Now we will see.
Let me take you to the issue of broader defense spending in Europe. Where do you see, that was started in 2014 with the Crimea invasion. Governments have pledged to increase by 2024. And it looks like now it's picking up speed. There's been a lot of pressure from Donald Trump, the American president, on that score as well. Where are the opportunities you see for this added spending, not just in Europe, but also in the United States where spending is going up?
Well, let's start with Europe first. Almost all the European countries have announced and decided to increase their investment in defense, which is good for a group as Thales, be it in France, in Germany, in the UK, for instance, in Italy. So that's the good starting point. Secondly, it's also true outside Europe. You take Middle East, Asia, Southeast Asia. These defense budgets are still following an upward trend, which is also positive for us. US, we will see. We have a small presence in the US. We shall benefit from this also positive trend, but it will also benefit, of course, to the large US defense firms.
And where do you see any particular market segments where you feel the growth is going to be the strongest?
Probably ISR. It's very important. It has become a decisive asset for modern armies. ISR, definitely. Cybersecurity, which is dual, I would say, but it's also there's also a military aspect in cyber defense. These two fields are clearly, I would say, having great potential.
You guys have spent $1 billion in merger and acquisitions over the past year, mostly in the digital field. And one of the interesting acquisitions, which was around $200 million, was Guavos, a company that does data analytics, but on a mass scale that a lot of folks think is going to position you very well for the future. Talk to us a little bit about your overall strategy, whether you expect more deals, and specifically what the Guavos deal is going to do for you in the United States in particular.
Well, generally speaking, I've decided really to accelerate in 4 main digital technologies, which are first connectivity, or Internet of Platform, not Internet of Things in our domain. Secondly, data analytics, big data, and that's the reason why we acquired Guavos. Third is the artificial intelligence, which is the step further after data analytics, allowing platforms or sensors to become autonomous, to take decisions on behalf of human being, I would say, as pertinent as human beings. And fourth, when you have connected platforms or sensors, when they are becoming more and more autonomous, you need cybersecurity, of course. So on these 4 main technologies, I'm going to invest and to grow the amount of competence that we already have.
And what kind of edge do you think Guavos gives you in the U.S. market in particular?
Well, coming to Guavos, this is a real jewel. It's a digital platform having two main characteristics that are key for us. The first one is the fact that it deals, or it is able to compute data analytics real time. It's a key requirement coming from their existing customers, telco operators, but it's clearly a must for us in defense, security, aeronautics, space, and ground transportation. The second key characteristics, which make it quite unique, is the availability of this digital platform. You know, it's the famous 5.9. It's 99.99999% of availability. Again, it's a requirement coming from the telco world, but which is mandatory in our, let's say, safety critical world.
Are there any events or anything over the past year since we've spoken that changes your strategy at all as you adjusted? You talked about the digital strategy, but are there other elements that you're looking out there and are paying particular attention to as you tune your strategy, sort of like a sailor on a sailboat? You know, you're always paying attention to the wind to make sure you're on the right course.
Well, I try to always keep, I would say, one plane advance. And typically, some years ago, everybody was talking about data analytics. For me, data analytics, it's already the war of the past. Clearly, what is now becoming a must, is AI, artificial intelligence. We have already, let's say, 100 experts worldwide in this domain. We need to grow, to reinforce, and it will, I would say, come in each and every solution that we are going to promote, to push, to sell to our customers. In fact, moving a business from equipment or solution supplier to a service business more and more, or as a service, as we say, as a service business, thanks to these digital technologies.
You're a global defense player. You're a key French company, but you also have a massive presence in the UK. When last we talked, Brexit was brand new, but now there's been a year. There are talks, there have been elections. As you, as a chief executive of such an important company in the UK defense industrial space and commercial space, what are the potential implications for what you're seeing for the future of your business?
For the moment, I would say it's neutral. Why? Because Thales UK mainly sells to either UK customers or customers in the Middle East or in Asia, so outside Europe. So there is no, I would say, impact if some tariff barrier will arise in the next future. The second aspect is the exchange rate between the pound and typically the dollar or the euro. The fact that the pound has gone a bit weaker, even maybe an advantage to export from the UK. So for the moment, to be short, I would say no worry about the Brexit. But let's also be patient and see how is it going in the years to come.
If freedom of movement goes away, does that present a big challenge for you?
Which movement, sorry?
Freedom of movement. With French going to UK going to France. You know, when borders obviously change when that happens. Are you particularly worried about that?
Here again, not really, because in the UK, our, I would say, operations are run by UK citizens, and same in France, in Germany, they are run by national citizens. So if there are some restrictions, it should not impact us.
On Buy American, President of the United States has said from his inauguration, America first, Buy American policy, Build America policy. Are you concerned about that at all as a company that's been working to grow its footprint in the United States?
Mm-hmm. First, let's wait and see. Do not anticipate too much. It's difficult to see for the moment what it really means, concretely speaking, let's say Buy American. Secondly, we are already American in the US. We have 3,000 people, a bit more than 3,000 people. They are US citizens. They work in the US. They produce in the US. They design in the US, and they sell to US customers. So I would say being more pro-US in the US is good for our US business.
Let me ask you a commercial aerospace question. One of your key pillars of your strategy is the connectivity on aircraft. You guys are a leading maker of in-flight entertainment systems. That model is changing rather dramatically. A lot of the airlines want you to bring your own iPad or they'll loan you an iPad. How is that going to change the business dynamics for you in the future?
Well, it's a growing business, connectivity, because it brings new services. In fact, it brings broadband, to be concise, broadband to the aircraft. So you will have the same usage, the same experience that you have at home or at your office, and this is a real breakthrough.